Here we go. Be ready. How close can we get? We good? We good? We good? We good? This is good. Oh boy, she's way taller than me. Have at it.
Okay. So my name is Morgan Harrison, like he said. Growing up in Vale meant I always knew I had support to turn to and individuals to look up to. I watched the alumni board and dinner come together with the help of so many people and raise money for scholarships over the years. And it truly means the world to me when I received a phone call asking if I could speak tonight for you guys. I graduated in 2019 and received the alumni scholarship that year. After applying and being interviewed, I knew many of the individuals who were interviewing me that day. I valued their approval and encouragement so much. I was so nervous for the interview until I saw the friendly, familiar faces of my community as I was answering their questions and they were smiling back at me. As I was answering the questions, all of the memories growing up in Vale flooded my mind, and in that moment I knew I was ready to pursue my goals and continue to represent my community elsewhere. I thought that when I first received the scholarship from the alumni board, that would be a start to a goodbye. I was heading off to college and I was closing another chapter in my life. I was moving to another town, starting in a new school. I knew I would stay in touch with some as I was not too far away and I wanted to come home often to see my family. But I thought the overall support would be different. And I thought I would have to embrace myself into a new community with new faces. I thought that I would be starting all over. Coming up on 4 years this May since I received that scholarship, I have graduated with my Bachelor's of Science, even through the craziness of the world shutting down. I have pursued track and field as so many have believed in me and made it to nationals. I have made new friendships, started new jobs, and I suffered the incredible loss of my brother. Through all those moments, I have felt more love and more support than ever before. I thought that when I left Vale, I would be saying goodbye. But I realized that in this community, I will always have friendships and family, and goodbye is not an option. I have received more phone calls, messages, and I have been so stunned by the amount of individuals who still check in and see what I am doing and how I am doing, including from those on the alumni board. Local scholarships for me meant knowing the hard work that goes into providing these scholarships, especially in a small community. Everyone has multiple jobs and everyone has multiple hats to wear in this community. I did not just receive a scholarship, but I received a community that will always want to help and want to reach out. To have these opportunities that the Alumni Association brings takes a whole lot of people, and having that many people willing to stand behind you is a feeling like no other. I now realize that on graduation day I was not saying goodbye, but embracing new, mature connections that'll last with me as I continue to go through the challenges of finding my way and becoming the person that I want to be. Right now, I have no clue what the timing will hold of my life or how it will all happen. And graduation day back in 2019, if you knew me, I thought I had it all figured out. I today now feel more confident than ever, not knowing what my life holds because of the many people who are walking that path with me. I have written so many thank you notes to so many of you in this crowd tonight, throughout the years for graduation, track, 4-H, and everything in between. But I will truly never be able to say thank you enough to all of you. You all are so amazing for being able to put on all these opportunities for students like me. And with that, thank you all and have a great rest of your night.
So we have some Hall of Famers here that I want to recognize from the first state championship, 1950-something. We have two people here. I want to introduce them. If you'd stand up and let's give them a round of applause. I don't know who's older, but they're both old. Gene Bates, and Paul Sheffield. From, I believe, 2018, Frank Uragwin is here. Almost as old and much younger, Doug Mogg. So at the beginning of this research, I realized that thinking of the 5 people who are the recipients of this induction this year, the word humility often popped in my head. I think by the time we're done tonight, you will agree. Mr. Crawford, I'm just going to carry this thing around so I can get a little closer to you. I want to introduce your family because I wouldn't say they're around Vale a lot. We all remember your wife Shirley, if you'd stand up, Shirley. Bob's brother Mike and his wife Renee. The oldest son Rob and his wife Betsy. Right, Betsy? I was trying not to look at my paper. The other son, there's 3 of you, right? And a daughter, is that correct? Okay. Dave and his wife, Tori. That didn't work very well. Well, there he is right there, Mr. Crawford. So before, I got to tell a little personal story about Mr. Crawford. But before I do that, we have another Hall of Famer, Merle Saunders. He was unable to attend this evening, but he wanted me to pass along some nice words about you, Bob. And I'm too lazy to write it down, so I just left it on my phone. He says, Bob was a huge supporter of the auto program. Not only did he attend our automotive advisory committee meetings as a superintendent when he retired, he kept working and donating part of his salary to expand the auto shop and adding the current classroom. He was a great superintendent to work for, always trying to help me be a better teacher. Thanks, Bob. I wish I could be here tonight. So a real quick personal story. In 1991, I was able to come to Vale to be a teacher. I was standing in for 6 months for Mary Ann Standage, who was on maternity leave. And at the conclusion of that, just before Christmas break, Mr. Crawford invited me to his office. He said, why don't you come on down? I'm like, great. We just won the state championship, and I thought I had done a pretty good job in health. But I didn't know he had such a dry sense of humor. I'm hoping it was a dry sense of humor, but he wanted to critique
Excuse me, Jeff. Jeff.
Oh, Lynn. Lynn.
This microphone, I just thought I'd have a couple things to say.
Hey, the alumni committee, remember they said that we didn't want to go too long, so...
Yeah, I wasn't on that committee.
What am I going to say? He's an Oregon Senator, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Jeff. I'm quite frankly shocked that Jeff gave the microphone to a politician 2 weeks left to the election. I'm kind of liking it. There's a fairly large crowd here. I'll go over through the voters pamphlet, tell you who you should vote for, what you should be doing. But good evening. It's great to see such a great number of folks for a tremendous cause and great inductees. I'm not sure what Jeff was thinking when he gave me this microphone, but I'm going to do it anyhow. I'm here to talk about Bob Crawford. Everyone from Vale knows Bob. I know Bob Crawford from Lakeview. It's Bob's fault for a lot of things I'm going to talk about. Bob Crawford, when he moved to Vale, you all could rave about his service, and I'm sure several people later on will do just that. The students, the community, and I'm quite sure the speakers following me remember Bob Crawford. I'm here to tell you that a community service is not new to Bob. I first met him in Lakeview in 1980. I was only 5 at the time. When my daughter was in grade school, I guess I should have read more before I said that. The school district was struggling in Lakeview with non-regulation track. They couldn't hold any track meets. And their football field was subgrade. Gave a new meaning to mud ball. Through Bob's efforts to rally civic organizations, including the local Lions Club, which I joined because of this operation, the civic organizations raised the money and built a new all-weather track, a new above-grade football field with sprinklers. Bob's leadership in the community was instrumental in that project. I met Bob not at the school, but in the Lions Club because I wanted to be a part of such a great community organization that gave back to their communities. Bob is an incredible example of leadership. His leadership in the school district, the community, reflected his accomplishment in multiple communities now. I was happy when I moved back to Vale to see Bob again. It was my distinct honor to serve with him as a Lions Club, to hold raffles and auctions every year to raise enough money to build an all-weather track and a football field. The Lions Club kept doing that. We redid the swimming pool, all because of community support, all led by Bob Crawford. It's my distinct honor to say, thank you, Bob. I'm glad you moved to Vale, because it's still my home. So, thank you.
Sorry, Alumni Association. So, as I was saying about Mr. Crawford's dry sense of humor, he was critiquing my teaching style.
Jack, back off.
Well, she's mad because I didn't introduce her as a Hall of Famer. Kurt, go along.
First of all, the reason you think that, oh, I couldn't talk loud enough, I don't need this. Okay.
Talk to Dan.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Just wait a minute, they're helping me. Nope, not you. Not you. The reason Mr. Crawford thought she was coming into the room and thinking that you didn't know what you're doing is because you were so scrawny. He decided that you better build your character up, and that's why. I'm going to interrupt you. That's all. Got it? Okay. Okay. So Mr. Crawford does not have a dry sense of humor. He used to come out to Willow Creek. His wife was a kindergarten teacher where I work. Very lovely people. And I asked Bob one day if I could take off to go to my daughter's game, and he said, family comes first. So that was very nice, and I appreciate that. Now I have a little story about Bob and Shirley.
Let's keep
Step here.
Some pretty big font.
This is maddening.
You're doing great.
Bob and Shirley were lying in bed one night. Bob was falling asleep, but Shirley was in a romantic mood and wanted to talk. Shirley said, you used to hold my hand when we were courting. Bob reached over to hold her hand for a few minutes, then tried to get back to sleep. A few minutes later, Shirley said, then you used to kiss me. Bob was getting very irritated. And so he
We're getting hot up here.
gave Shirley a peck on the cheek. And then he went settle back down to sleep. 30 seconds later, Shirley said, then you used to bite my neck. Angrily, Bob threw back the covers and got out of bed. Where are you going, Shirley asked. Bob replied, "To get my teeth."
Thank you, Gert.
Brian was saying what a nice guy you were. Well, I'll talk to Brian later. I will tell him the real story.
Thank you, Gert. Claire Solly taught first grade for a couple of years in Vale. I think you've earned the right to hold the microphone. Absolutely.
Several years ago, I received a Christmas letter from the Crawfords. And in that letter, Bob said, "My recliner is now a butt magnet." And so now my recliner is acting the same way. Bob, congratulations, and I'm glad we made it tonight.
Thank you, guys. Let's scoot up here a little bit so those folks can see. Don't fall off. Stay back, Gert. Stay back.
Yeah, like so many of you here tonight, I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Crawford for several years. He taught us how to be the best that we could possibly be at our job. And I thank you for that, Mr. Crawford. As you can only imagine, anyone in his position has to sometimes make decisions that aren't very popular to those who work around him. Most of us would maybe grumble a bit and go on a day or two. But there was Sola Staley, who I love dearly. She wasn't about to go on with her day, or maybe even a week, without letting everyone around her know about her feelings. Mr. Crawford always had his door open into the hallway where he could have a clear view of the passers-by. Sola had this little bitty voodoo doll that she would carry up and down the hall in front of his office with this great big pin going. And then she would label the pins with who all the pokes were for.
Oh, let me see my name down there.
Yeah, okay. When this particular doll was full of pokes and names, she brought a bigger doll. We all loved Sola and her antics. Even though she sometimes thought she ran things, we were more than happy that you were our boss.
That's Rhonda Erstrom. Thank you, ladies.
Have a new knee.
Has nothing to do with your age. There you go, Kevin. We let Gert sit down. I don't want to make you mad, Gert. So,
Jeff, I want to say something.
yes, Don?
Well,
Wait a minute. All right, I forgot you too. Hall of Famer, Don White.
well, Bob, you deserve this. When I nominated you, I really didn't expect them to give it to you because you didn't graduate from Vale. You know, it took me quite a while to remember why I nominated you. And it was the wee hours of the morning sitting on the can that I remembered. So I wrote it down with the nearest thing I had. Bob, I was in education for over 40 years. I suffered through a lot of administrators in that time. But the thing I remembered about you, you cared. When you came to town and started in our school system, you joined the Chamber of Commerce, Lions Club, participated in things to help the community. You made the staff your friends. You were willing to listen to us. And if we came in with you with an idea or a suggestion for our program, you listened and you helped us maintain them. A lot of new programs came about while you were there. Things like Junior First, you helped the FFA auction start off. I think the dance team started during that time. Middle school cross country, the Oregon Trail Invitational. All those things happened with your guidance because you had an open door, willing to let us come in and listen and support us if you had ideas. And then your great idea you took to the board about developing a new athletic program at the high school was amazing. And we wouldn't have the neat facilities we have today without you. So Bob, you may be a graduate of Little Wallowa School, but you're a Viking at heart, and you definitely deserve this honor. Thank you.
All right, are there any more Hall of Famers in the house? Okay, we'll never leave those guys out again. Okay, so the timing about my joke about Bob's dry sense of humor is obviously going to fall flat. I don't think I'm...
Sorry, everyone. I've been waiting.
Yes, Denise Stone, yes. She worked side by side with Mr. Crawford for years. Of course, your turn.
Oh, those are my friends.
So one of them's my aunt. Her name's Sharon Hawkins. I'm going to be really nice to her. And then the other one is my teacher from years and years ago. She knew me before puberty, so I will respect her as well, Karlene McConnell. So you got it, girls.
Thank you. So, Mr. Crawford, I've often wondered if you really knew what you were getting yourself into when you came up that day and so nicely asked if I would possibly fill in for Beth while she was on maternity leave. Well, not only did I fill in, mostly because I was scared to tell her no, but I never left. Poor thing, you had to retire just to get rid of the two of us. I know we made you crazy, a lot. Two of us, one of you, but I feel like the teamwork that we did together really solved a lot of great things. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Crawford, for not only my career, but for the chance to be able to work side by side with my partner in crime and my beautiful and forever friend, Beth. Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Thank you for providing so many opportunities for the staff and the students of the Vail schools and for the Vail community. As a leader, you saw potential in people, inspired them, and empowered them through education. Teachers were encouraged to take classes, attend workshops and conferences, and use their ed fund. Classified employees were encouraged to attend workshops. If there was a workshop on cleaning or grounds maintenance, you saw to it that people were there. Food service workshops were attended, bus drivers and mechanics were given opportunities. Title I aides were sent across the state to better equip themselves to work with kids. You instilled in us that if we did our job, we ran a tight ship and benefited the kids. Board members didn't escape those opportunities. The OSBA Fall Convention was well attended. As board secretary, I was privileged to attend those workshops. You made sure those workshops were attended by all of us there for as many of them as we could possibly fit in. No matter what the subject, by whoever attended, you made sure that information was shared. Mr. Crawford, you always gave credit, but you never took credit. Through Mr. Crawford's leadership, the staff became somewhat of a family. Laughter in the lounges at break time, noon, and at the day's end. A family that many of us still share. Thank you, Mr. Crawford, for all you did for so many of us.
I was supposed to bring Kleenex for Sharon. That was my main job. Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure the impact lasts in your absence. My former colleagues have shared stories of the influence and impact Mr. Crawford has made in the Vale community. It was a high priority of yours to build a community within our school, bringing us closer together as people, appreciate our unique town, and educate the children as best of our abilities. Through your leadership, you encouraged me to pursue my master's degree in school administration. I was provided an opportunity to complete my administrative internship while I continued to teach and coach. And when the elementary principal position opened, I was encouraged to apply. I became the successful candidate in Vale's first elementary principal, first woman elementary principal. The skills I've learned from you as an administrator, I brought forth into my new position. So thank you for inspiring me so that I could inspire other women to become school administrators. At this time, it's my greatest pleasure to welcome Vale High School Alumni Hall of Fame's newest inductee, Mr. Bob Crawford.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow, I'll tell you. I had some stuff written down, but they covered it all. It was a real pleasure to work here. And Denise Stone, she sat in my office. We had a computer. It sort of did what we wanted it to do, but not often. And so Denise and Beth were there every day trying to make sense of what I had written down. Anyway, they did a really good job, and Sharon kept us all paid and everything. Anyway, my idea for the athletic program came one day when we had a football game. And we had about 6 inches of snow, and we were down at the old park, and the lavatory frozen up. Kids had to sit on a bus. I decided that something needed to be done. I found out later that the facility had been on the works since 1950, but they didn't have any money to bring it together. And so when I retired, I was able to switch over to Social Security in my retirement and give the money to the school. And then money came from everywhere. A bunch of you probably donated. It developed into something that was pretty hard to imagine right at the beginning. But it's been there, and I think it's going to stay. I used to travel to the football games all the time, but age seems to have a tendency to kind of control your activities. And I turned 90 in August, and I think that's obscene, the idea of being 90. My doctor asked me how I compared with the other 90-year-olds I knew, and I said they're all dead. So anyway, thank you all so much for such a wonderful evening.
So, Lyndon, I don't want anybody to hear this, but we're having some technical difficulties. So should I ask, is there a technical difficulty doctor in the house that can help Lyndon? Yes? Okay. Do we have anybody that's in the house that can help Lyndon with some technical difficulties? We're trying to show a little quick video. So anybody, feel free. Welcome to the Hall of Fame banquet, and we'll introduce you, and you'll be famous. No one? Okay, Mr. Snook? No? Aha! She's not an alumnus, but she is an honorary member. April Johnson. Wave to everybody, April. Let's give her a round of applause for at least standing up here trying. Okay, so while they're working on that, I would like... Shh. I'm going to go over here. Oh, yes, sir. You're going to interrupt me too, again. Somebody else. Oh, we're not. What? Oh, yeah. Yes, we forgot something. So Brian and I are going to walk down here so he doesn't have to walk back up here to officially induct Mr. Crawford into the Hall of Fame. So we're going to do that again, right? We should keep him up there, huh? Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so Dwight and Karlene Keller. Got a fan club. Yeah. So Karlene, most people are too polite to tell you this, but the most charitable work you ever did was marrying Dwight. Thank you very much. Our community is much better because of that day you said yes. Well, Merle Saunders was 2 for 2 this year. He actually nominated Mr. Crawford and the Keller couple. So he was always good at everything, and apparently he did really well. And he said this about the Kellers. He says, not only did Dwight and Karlene send me 3 great automotive students, Keller's Parts and Service was always finding ways to support the automotive program through discount parts, field trips to their machine shop, and also the expertise of their technical support. They were always there to lend support and encouragement. He says, thanks, Kellers. Wish I was there to congratulate you in person. So, he's not here. You don't have to clap for him again. But they might be clapping for you. So, Logan has a letter from your brother Daryl. For the sake of time, I think that Logan should give you that letter personally. But I do, however, want to read one line in the letter. Daryl says, when Dwight was a senior, he dyed his hair white. That's some damn good dye, Dwight. So, this is where the technical part is struggling, I believe.
Mostly because you probably better stop. One thing about that hair dye though, it'd be a lot easier.
Yes, yes. So, what's up, Luke? This is Dwight, Karlene's oldest son and vice president of the Alumni Association. Luke, did you have something to say? Okay. Yeah, me too. Do you want the mic?
Not very bad.
So I'll tell you what, if this isn't working, no you don't, but we will make sure everybody gets a chance to watch it at some point, okay?
So, we had some really great help putting together a little video because neither my brothers or I really wanted to be standing right here. So, we do feel pretty blessed to have the parents we have and a whole lot of things they've done, a whole lot of people that I hope they feel have been affected even in this room probably. So I hope we're closing in on this video. Either you guys want to say anything right now?
Are we recording? How long have you known Dwight and Karlene? What was your general first impression and what draws you?
Yes, pretty good.
Let's do this.
Okay, you got it. So we're going to get audio.
Are we recording? Have you known Dwight and Karlene? What was your general first impression and what draws you to them?
I've known Dwight and Karlene for
Pause it. Pause it, would you please,
40
Linda?
years.
Okay, so we're going to have to listen very, very carefully. Those people who are deaf, you're going to have to watch it at home. So, we're not getting any pictures of people, but you're going to hear some really nice things about Dwight and Karlene.
I'll say this about the video. Not too many people really want to be on the video anyway, so just listening to them would be great. This one right here. We're all better off without it.
I'm going to find a mic.
It's just like this one right here. Are we recording?
We're recording.
How long have you known Dwight and Karlene? What was your general first impression and what draws you to them?
I've known Dwight and Karlene for probably 40 years. Dwight actually worked for my sister and I, Sue, at the lumberyard. Pretty conscientious young people at that time.
Ooh. I was a kid when I met Dwight and Karlene, mostly because we were neighbors when we lived up on Hall Road. They lived down below, and
I know Karlene's my sister, so I've known her all my life. And Dwight, I've known him probably 40 years, maybe somewhere right in there.
I've known Karlene 40 plus years, and we have a lot of the same interests, and we've just always gotten along really well, just like family.
oh, you all your life.
Yeah,
No,
all
no.
my life, so, I mean, general first impression, guess I'd say they're pretty great, because I'm here today.
I've known her for 30-some years. She drove the school bus with me, and they're neighbors, and she's one of my best friends.
Well, I've known him
Probably most of your whole life.
Probably most of my whole life. I'm thinking pretty close to that. It's kind of an awkward question for a kid to be asked, I guess.
I have known Dwight and Karlene ever since I started dating a girl from Vale, because that's kind of how Dwight and Karlene are. Like, if you are any way involved in this community, if you are in any way connected to people from this community, they end up pulling you in. So I've known them, I don't know, 15, 20 years, whatever it's been now. And then I really got to know them when we started the Vale Community Coalition.
Wow, what a question. I have known Dwight and Karlene for almost 40 years. They were one of the first people we met when we moved to Vale in the early 1980s with our farm. Known them a long time.
Well, 38 years since last September, I've known them. And of course, my parents, love them to death. What's not to love about them? They've given my brothers and I every opportunity they've ever asked for, supported us in anything we ever wanted to do, and brought us along for everything they always did. And they exposed us to everything they could think of, you know, in this case, community service for sure.
When did it become evident to you that they were so community-minded?
Probably in the last 15 years, being involved just in different things, whether it be a fundraiser, the Lions Club, they were just everywhere, always at every event that you could possibly imagine.
They're at every single one of them. Doesn't matter which one it is. It doesn't matter who it's going to benefit. They're there.
Truly a part of that community, and are active in everything we do in the Vale community.
They're always so giving. They are always like the first to donate their time or supplies or anything.
Vale's home, you know, and if you're going to be part of Vale, then just be on the volunteer fire department. Well, just help these people do this, and after a while it catches its own momentum.
It seemed like they were just always doing a lot of stuff for people all the time.
It just started for my brothers and I when we were so young. Our parents have always done stuff for the community.
Well, they both volunteered for numerous things. I can't put a name on what it is right now, but they were always volunteering for something. Rodeo boards was one.
Sports from that time forward, Mom coached. The shop, the Keller's Auto Parts, always sponsored a team, and any other community event. They're like, oh, let's go help. We always wondered what we could do, and so it's just part of the family life. It's just what we did.
I think that they think of other people first before themselves, and they're always kind and giving.
So your grandparents are being inducted into the Vale Alumni Association's Hall of Fame for their amazing example of community service. So when you think of community service and your grandparents, what comes to mind?
Helping the town make it a nicer, prettier place to live. They're at every meeting that they can be at. They're in every association, every group that they can be in. They're always at Lions or alumni or whatever they can do.
They've always given of their time, whether they're busy or not. It didn't matter. If they were busy, they just put their stuff aside and would always help with whatever was going on, with anybody.
And Linda,
They always took time to do for other people and for the community.
So Zach Knapp helped put the video together. It really is a good video if you get a few minutes to watch it. It's 20 minutes long. It was like 2.5 hours of video that he went through. So we really appreciate his work. At this time, hey Brian, if you would come up, I'd like to induct my parents into the Hall of Fame. You guys come up, please.
And the part that Dwight's been waiting for the last couple months is to have a microphone.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you. You know, I made it 66 years before I ever had to get up in front of everybody and talk. But, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and they said they were taught to just imagine everybody in the room's naked. It makes it easier. Boy, you guys look great. But, yes, thank you all very much. Don't know what else to say. Your turn.
I don't know if I can. It was very humbling to begin with, to be thought of, and then to be chosen, and to be up here, and this is really uncomfortable. But, and then listening to the video, it's truly an honor to hear of that. We love our community, we love our family, more than you guys know. I'll get you back. But, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
1982. That is not when Dwight graduated. So, Luke, I didn't hear you. Did you mention Zach? You did. Okay, so you mentioned go on YouTube. And I was looking at it. Vale Alumni Association 2022. There's a picture of them there. You can watch and see who's speaking. Zach did a wonderful job, and I did not when we got here. So, I'm sorry about that, and I'm proud of the Kellers, as we all are. I do have some housekeeping. I'm going to tell you the information now because I don't know how long the combos and the arguments are going to last, if they're going to interrupt me. I don't know who would interrupt me, but I'm sure someone's going to. So, I got some housekeeping. Can you let me? We don't want to wait till the end. Please, Kristen, please. Thank you. So, if you bought something tonight through the silent auction or the live auction, you need an invoice before you can pay your money through credit card, dollar bills, or a check. Dawn and Annette Wayne will have the invoices back there somewhere. He's a Hall of Famer, and you already know him, so find that guy. His wife, the brains of the outfit, will take care of it. So, once you get that invoice, then you'll go to the lines that will be established as you walk in the door. To the right, that would be the north. That's cash or check. To the left, that would be the south. That is going to be credit card. That's very important, so you don't get angry when they tell you to go to the end of the line. So we're going to play a little game, and it's called Who Gets the Centerpiece? So you have some guidelines. Let's do this. Let's give the first option. If someone paid for your table, the recipient of that centerpiece by Sarah Rodriguez Aretola at Luzez. Option one, if you bought that table for your guests, obviously you get first choice. The second option, if you cannot decide, will be the oldest graduating alumnus of Vale High School. All the old people. There's a theme. The third option, if you're the toughest person at your table, just take it. What are they gonna do? The last option, if you can't decide, we'll bring it up here and auction it off. So, that's it for the housekeeping. Now, this is a new one. The brothers Como and Iraguan. I was able to go to Gary and Nancy's house a couple months ago, and I was able to take Susan from her house in Ontario. We drove over there. They, old friends from school, knew each other. I was a fly on the wall. I didn't know any of the people they were talking about. Anyway, they got kind of open, and they said, they both mentioned that their husbands were both passionate lovers. No, they didn't say that, I was just kidding. But, I mean, Gary and Joe were good at everything, right? So, one would think. So I mentioned the word humility. And I cannot think of two more humble people that I've ever heard of that would be as reluctant to receive this award as those two gentlemen. Matter of fact, I find it ironic. Number one, we get a lot of Ontario people helping them around here. John Kirby not only donates every year, but he also nominated these two guys. He nominated them as friends because he knew them from Treasure Valley days. When an Ontario guy nominates two Vail guys, that says something about those two guys. So let's talk about Joe. Joe, you're up.
Yeah.
What?
Well, Kimmy and I were just thinking that maybe we should talk about him because we do know a lot about the guy. Come up and say a few words.
Well, it has some good stuff. Come on up. These ladies are going to introduce themselves because they're from Ontario.